Hello, and welcome to Margaritas with Marcy. I'm Marcy, and this is my margarita. And this is my cast. Follow along in this video as I take you on a journey through the Mexican medical system and find out what I did to my leg and also my arm and what the prognosis is. Stay tuned. Hello, and welcome back to Margaritas with Marcy. It's been a while since I posted because I've been a little busy recuperating. You can see my arm is in a sling here, as well as my leg in the cast that I just showed you. I'm gonna scoot this forward now. So 2 weeks ago, I stepped out onto my patio at 6 o'clock in the morning. I was admiring the stars still twinkling in the sky, and I stepped on a lid over an underground water tank, and the lid flew off. And next thing I knew, I was one leg down in the hole, one leg splayed out to the side, and everything hurt. So I managed to pull myself out of the hole, crawled back into the house, and called my dear friend Michelle. 6:15 in the morning. She answered the phone. I said, "Can you take me to the hospital?" And she goes, "Yep, be right there." No questions asked. So we went to the hospital and to the emergency room, and it's quite an experience going through the Mexican medical system. It's something that foreigners here worry about a lot. What's going to happen if I need to go to the hospital? Does my insurance cover it? What can I expect? And I would say that everybody's experience is going to be a little bit different. I had a friend recently who had a heart attack. She went to La Paz, and then she ended up going back home to the US for treatment. It is different here. You know, the public hospitals are socialized, so it's socialized medicine. So there isn't the big push from the insurance companies to bill for everything, and you can only have these kinds of treatments depending on your insurance and all that. So this is my experience. So we go to the ER, and they took me in, and the only person who spoke English was the security guard outside. So we get out Google Translate, and everyone wanted to know what happened. So I had to translate, "I fell in a hole," which, when you live here, the sidewalks and streets are very uneven, unpredictable. There's manhole covers missing everywhere. So you learn to be very careful when you're walking on the sidewalks, as my friends who have been here will attest. But you just don't expect something to happen right in your own yard. But you never know, and you should always be on guard. So we got there 6:45, and he looked me over, and they said, "Well, your leg might be broken, but the x-ray technicians don't get here until 8 o'clock." And they were very apologetic for it. I mean, if you've ever gone to an emergency room in the US, you might wait 8-12 hours sometimes, depending on the hospital. They were very apologetic that we had to wait even that long, an hour. And we were like, "Oh, no, it's fine." So I do have some footage that Michelle shot while we were in the x-ray room. So I'll put that in here, and some of the process along the way. And my doctor here in town, Dr. Jorge Salinas, he is so great. He's so sweet. And you can WhatsApp him. You can call him on WhatsApp anytime. Try doing that with the US doctor. You don't go through the answering machine, million different buttons. You leave a message, he gets right back to you. So I messaged him that I was in the hospital, and he was there in 5 minutes. I don't know why he was so close. Maybe he lives nearby. But he looked it over, talked it over with them, and was like, "Yep, your leg's broken." I broke the fibula just above the ankle, not down at the tip of it, but a little farther up. It's a clean break. It's just kind of like shifted out of position like that and is sticking out a little bit. So no surgery. So they put a plaster splint on the back of it and then wrapped the front of it up with a lot of gauze. And that was it. I also injured my shoulder. It hurt very badly. So they x-rayed that, but they didn't see anything broken. So they just put a splint on it and sent me home. And the whole cost for that stay in the emergency room, which was probably 2 hours or so, zero. Showed them my passport, my temporary residence card, and because it's socialized medicine, there's no charge for emergency visits. Pretty good, huh? But my roommate, unfortunately, is in the United States for 3 months right now, so very bad timing. But I have such a great group of friends here. The first day I just went back to bed and they brought me food and medicine. The doctors would only give me NSAIDs, no pain pills. I don't know why. I really could have used them. But they went shopping for me and took care of the cats, and they've just been really great throughout this whole thing. So after a week, I had a appointment with an orthopedist who basically just looked at it, and so I walked into his office. He didn't even have my x-rays. Michelle had gone into the x-ray room and taken a picture on her phone of the x-ray, sent it to me, so I had it on my phone. So I showed him the picture on my phone. And he said, yep, it's broken. Very casual. And I can't use crutches because of this arm. It's probably either a rotator cuff or some kind of ligament or tendon strain, severe strain, hopefully. So he gave me a knee scooter to use to get around. And that's basically all he did. So when you go to see a specialist like that and you're paying out of pocket, which I have Medicare and Medicaid, they do not cover you when you're outside of the United States. And I had let my traveler's insurance lapse. So that first visit to the orthopedist cost 2,000 pesos, which is now it's about $120. So he sent me home and I started the recuperation process. I, hobbled around trying not to put any weight on it. It's non-weight bearing. I didn't get a walking boot or cast or anything like that. Taking a shower is always a challenge. And last Sunday, so exactly 1 week after I did it on February 4th. I was in the shower and I had the plastic bag taped up over my leg and water got in. So that plaster splint on the back of my leg got wet and it was just kind of floppy. So we went back to the hospital and had another splint put on, more gauze. Again, zero charge. So, and then just yesterday, I had an appointment with the orthopedist to put on the hard cast. So he took all that off and put on a fiberglass cast. So that's what I have on now. It's much bulkier than the other one. Feels more restrictive. And it's not easy trying to sleep when you have a bulky cast on one side and then a really hurting arm on the other. So that's been really challenging. With that visit, I was in for probably 45 minutes while he did the casting. And that cost 3,000 pesos, which is about $170. Which I thought for Mexico was kind of steep. You never know here whether you're paying gringo prices or local prices. There's no receipts. The first visit, there was no bill. I just kind of went out to the receptionist and we milled around a little bit. And then I was like, ¿Cuánto cuesta? Which is like, what's the cost? And I guess I could have said La Cuenta, which is the bill. And she conferred with the doctor and he finally said 2,000 pesos. And that includes the rental on the scooter. And they want cash too. No credit cards, no debit cards. So I didn't have that much on me. That's quite a bit of money to carry around with you. So Michelle had to go back the next day to pay, and she asked for a receipt, and there was no receipt. They didn't have a form for it. The receptionist kind of fumbled around on her desk for a while. Finally, Michelle said, "Oh, well, that's okay, never mind." So, but she has to go back tomorrow to pay for this, or today. And I said, please try to get a receipt, because I just kind of want a record of this, you know. But it's really kind of crazy how they want cash only, no receipts. It's like, where's that money actually going? So who knows? It's Mexico. Obviously, they're not reporting it to the insurance company, or who knows. While I was in the waiting room waiting for the orthopedist yesterday, there was another American woman in there who was having her arm put in a cast. And when she came out, we compared injuries. I said, "What did you do?" And she said she broke her wrist. And you definitely see people around the plaza and on the Malecon with casts on. I think falls are probably the most common injury that you get here in Mexico, just because of all the uneven surfaces, and you're looking around at other things. So I guess what I've learned from this, number one, be careful. Always watch where you're going. Watch your feet. And number two, either have insurance that will cover you in Mexico, whether that's your personal insurance, find out what your policy is. Most likely it will not. But if not, get traveler's insurance. And if you drive a car down, your car insurance usually also includes accident insurance and medevac insurance. So it will fly you out. Thank God I didn't have to do that. But if you don't want to go the insurance route, I would suggest having a health savings account. This so far has cost me, what is that, 150, about $400 with those two bills. And I still need to get an ultrasound on my shoulder. That's another $40. Maybe even go to La Paz for an MRI. I don't know how much that would cost, but that's also the expense of going there and staying in a hotel overnight. So, a simple thing like this could run $1,000. And if you haven't budgeted for that, it can put a pretty big crimp in your plans. So I would suggest, having several $1,000s in a health savings plan. You could also use that to hire someone to help you at home. I've been really lucky to have good friends come and help. And my friend Linda from Port Angeles is going to come down next week to stay with me for an indefinite amount of time. Thank you, Linda. And she'll get to experience Loreto, but also get to help me out around the house. And cooking and cleaning and all that is really difficult when you've got one arm and one leg on opposite sides. So so be prepared for anything. I always tell people, don't disaster plan when you travel. Don't pack for the worst case scenario, pack for the best case. But you do kind of have to be prepared as well. I've been living here for a year, so I don't really have the savings that I should. And I would have had $500 in my savings, but I just bought a Starlink satellite dish so that I can upload my videos quickly. So who knows? I did that, bought that a month before this happened. You just never know. But the kitties are enjoying having me staying in bed all day. They really like that company. I moved out to the infamous patio today, and I showed you the pictures of the hole. I now have a pot sitting over top of it, which I did before, but I had moved it stupidly. So, but it is still a beautiful day in Loreto. It's whale watching time, which I'm really sad that I won't get to go out whale watching. And I really wanted to take you on a whale watching trip and show you how amazing that is. We have blue whales here in the harbor. The gray whales that you see the pictures of, where they come right up to the boat and get petted, those are on the Pacific coast. but I won't be doing that either. So I'll be spending most of my time here in the yard with the cats. So I'll try to think of another video in the near future. But until then, I'm just gonna take it easy. And this is actually a non-alcoholic margarita this morning because I don't need to be unsteady on my feet. So thanks for watching this, and I hope you're all having a great February. And if you want some sunshine, it is 73 degrees today. Come on down. Cheers.